What's up guys? I'm back again. I just made another video, but I'm not done. I'm gonna make Death Stranding videos till the end of time because I love this game. And I was thinking about the fact that I haven't really seen many videos out there about the comparisons of Death Stranding to Metal Gear Solid. Now, obviously, Metal Gear Solid was created by Hideo Kojima and art direction by Yoji Shinkawa. So a lot of people are like, no shit, there's gonna be similarities because they're by the same people. Yes, of course, but there are a lot of things that I feel like people haven't really said, hey, that's literally just like in Metal Gear. So I thought I would make a list of things that I thought were very similar in the Death Stranding world from Metal Gear. So the most obvious one, I think, is the delivery bots. You end up getting delivery bots in the game, which are these like bipedal delivery guys for you that are AI. And they have a striking resemblance to the iBots from Metal Gear Solid 4. Like they literally are almost exactly the same. And that's gotta be a little tribute to Metal Gear Solid, especially because it's a bipedal tank, kind of a little bit. It's the only thing like that in this game. So it's definitely a nod, I think, to the Metal Gear Solid series. They like make a little song as they leave, and that's very like Metal Gear-y to me. Weird. Oh my god, that's the Metal Gear thing. That is literally the Metal Gear thing. What were those things called? Little balls with arms. So Postboxes, immediately I was like, holy shit, that's the mammal boss pod from Metal Gear Solid 5 more recently, but from Peace Walker. The boss's AI is in this mammal pod. The postbox looks eerily similar to it. I half expected the boss's voice to talk to me when I was putting stuff in the postbox for the first time. Mules. Mules look extremely familiar to me, and I couldn't like put my nose on what it was. And then I realized that it's really just reminding me of the Pain. Their outfits are pretty similar, their stances, and it just totally brought me back to the Pain. Another Metal Gear Solid 3 reference I thought was the gas mask. Oh my god! I straight up look like the Fury. I'm not mad at it. The gas mask looks extremely like the Fury, so I was like, they have a lot of Cobra unit kind of references, I think, in this game. It could not be at all, and it could just be strictly just, that's what Yoji Shinkawa thinks a gas mask looks like, but it's not. That's not what a gas mask looks like in real life. I said it time and time again that the BT noises, when they kind of appear after you scan around their area, it sounds like a Metal Gear Ray to me. I've heard the Metal Gear Ray sound so many times in my life, especially from like playing MGS2 on hard multiple times with the ending, and they just keep coming and coming and coming. It's very super similar to that sound effect. And I love it, and it also just like puts me on edge a little bit even more just because I'm like, oh my god, Metal Gear Ray. I don't want to blow anything, but there is a boss fight later in the game that is 100% a nod to the MGS4 battle with Liquid Ocelot on top of Outer Haven. It's a nod, complete nod. Unless they just really like that look. I got really excited. I was like, oh my god, this is Metal Gear Solid 4, which is like one of my favorite games of all time. So I really enjoyed that. It felt kind of unnecessary. It felt out of nowhere, as it did in Metal Gear Solid 4. So I guess it just kind of does come out of nowhere. But yeah, it was unexpected and completely put a smile on my face. Another very Kojima thing, which I guess isn't necessarily just a Metal Gear thing, but the breaking the fourth wall completely on multiple occasions. Heartman with the thumbs up towards camera. I seem to remember a moment where Higgs is like, aren't you sick of the trek by now? Or he says something to that effect.
Aren't you getting tired of the grind?
What I instantly think of is Metal Gear Solid 2, when the Colonel is talking to you and telling you to turn the game off, and like when I completely got freaked out by that, like turn off the console now. They did that in Death Stranding as well, and I thought they did a great job doing it. One example is when Deadman is explaining Game Over Man.
Game over, man.
which is a nod to Metal Gear Solid 5. It's Never Be Game Over, was written on Eli's jacket, I believe. And then also another little fourth wall breaking that reminds me of the MGS4 loading screen would say like, make sure to take a walk every couple hours. And there's like these little things in there that kind of are like, turn the game off for a little while. And sometimes when you would rest in game, it would say, hey, Sam's taking a rest, why don't you go outside and take a rest as well? Like kind of a nod to, why don't you turn off the game for a little bit? And just like in the previous Metal Gear games, there's a happy birthday thing for you. In MGS5, you got a cake, and MGS4 and the previous ones, it would kind of just, if you looked at your information, it would give you a little birthday cake on your day of birth, which is a really nice touch, and I'm glad they didn't lose that. I think they really like the character design of Psycho Mantis. He's been in almost every single Metal Gear game or something like him. He's definitely kind of represented in the BTs in Death Stranding. They're very different, but with the strings and everything, they're very similar. When you first see the BT mannequin in Hartman's lab, you're kind of like, oh shit, like first off, that's terrifying, but second off, I thought of Psycho Mantis instantly. The codec is back, and it's a smaller role in this game. You can't codec call anybody, they just can codec call you. And it's used sparingly, it's not used as much as it was in the Metal Gear Solid series, but it was nice to have that back in our world again. Also, I noticed that on the motorcycles, there is a logo that says Raven on it. It's never really addressed at all where Raven came from, but obviously my first thought was Raging Raven from Metal Gear Solid 4, and the Raven, I don't know, it could not be at all, but it just seemed a little like too random for me to not have a connection to Metal Gear, considering the importance of Raven in the games.
What took you so long?
Mama has a little tiny reference to kept you waiting, huh?
Well, you did keep us waiting, but...
She says, wow, you kept us waiting a while. You know, obviously that is 100% a Metal Gear reference. If it's not, that blows my fucking mind, but it is. It 100% is. Jordan Vogt Roberts being in the game is like a huge nod to the possibility of the Metal Gear Solid movie coming, and hopefully him being in charge of that and being the director of that. But I think it was really awesome that he was in there. I hope that is a nod to the Metal Gear Solid movie. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Metal Gear was like one of the first games that had voice actors' names on the screen and kind of started them as movies, and had beginning credits and they had end credits, and it was unskippable credits. Like, he continued with that kind of, it's part of the experience, it's not like, who cares about these people? And I found a lot of people complaining about how many credit scenes there are in Death Stranding, yet the same people are complaining about how Hideo Kojima takes credit for everything by saying like, Hideo Kojima game, Hideo Kojima edited, and like, I know it's a meme and I think it is funny, but how many other game developers have made sure that you sit through their credits for everybody, programmers, other countries, voice actors, like everybody, twice? And I think that's really awesome, and I think that's important, and I think we should appreciate the people that put this together, and not just the faces of the game, not just the voices of the game, but everyone behind the scenes. So I had no problems with that whatsoever. I think it's always a very nice touch and something I really like about Hideo Kojima. Obviously, he's not thinking he's a one-man army, and I think a lot of things get a little misconstrued in translation and stuff like that. I know that's gotten him into a little bit of trouble, but so the fact that he made it like you can't skip the credits, I think is important. And then also, this isn't Metal Gear related, but this is more Silent Hills related. Obviously, people are pointing out that name is Lisa. Obviously, Lisa is a nod to Silent Hills. Her name was Lisa. I also think it's a pretty obvious fact, like there was a baby in the sink in Silent Hills, and we have a BB in game. Obviously, they're a little bit different, but still definitely a baby connection there. And obviously, the fact that Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro are in Death Stranding is a big nod to Silent Hills. And the fact that we didn't get it, and the fact that it could have been the best thing ever, is something that we'll always wonder about, but I'm really glad that they were both involved in Death Stranding. Even if Guillermo didn't provide his voice, I still think it's very awesome that he's in the game. And then I think lastly is just the fact that Metal Gear was so jam-packed full of Easter eggs and funny things you could do in game. I think Death Stranding kind of followed in the footsteps of that, and there are a lot of little Easter eggs, lots of things to find in the world.
Shattered soul, entrapped.
Like myself, I've found some like handprints around that are in the shapes of rocks. There's a thumbs up rock apparently in the game. I still haven't found that. There are buildings in the game where they're inaccessible. You can't go to them or anything, but you can hear people having parties in there and like little things like that. Maybe that's just a Hideo Kojima thing, but it definitely reminds me of Metal Gear with all the different little Easter eggs they had in those games. I'm missing a trillion things. But if I think of anything, I'll put them in the description. And if you think of any, put some down below and I will put them in the description as well, with credit to you. So thank you guys for watching. I love Metal Gear and I love Death Stranding, and I'm super excited to see what Hideo Kojima comes up with next, and Yoji Shinkawa and all of Kojima Productions. So see you guys next time. Bye!